mean, you want to leave from here, go there.
Wait, man. That means sweat, man. I'm gonna have to come out this hat. See it when they because anything they're having is in competition with the USC students. It's gonna be a hot mess.
And in fact,
All right, Brendan, man. Brendan's sitting in there. I get into bed. That's the lowest I've ever seen. And I come back in there 3 hours later.
that's right. You know, she
Electric
had her
blanket.
eyes done. They call it
Crazy.
cataract. So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't have on my
Yeah, that was when I was going through it.
Okay, you can talk to me real quick.
Jim, look, 6 o'clock. It is now 6 o'clock. The chair will call this regular call board meeting, April 21st, 2026 to order. Madam Clerk, has the public been notified? And I do confirm a quorum. This time we would ask that we get a motion to go into executive session for personnel matters.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we go into executive sessions for personnel matters.
A second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Dr. Harris to go into executive session for personnel matters. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. That will have it 7-0. We will go into executive session for personnel matters. We will be back out very shortly. Okay. Executive session. Thank you.
have drawn it.
Oh, okay, that came since we've been gone.
This time, we'll ask for a motion to exit executive session. No action taken.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we exit executive session, no actions taken.
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. Davis to exit executive session. No action taken. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you. This time, I just wanted to welcome everyone to this April 21st, 2026 regular call board meeting. We do thank you all, parents, grandparents, uncles, niece, all our children. We just want to welcome you to our Fairfield County schools. It takes a village to raise a child. All of you, neighborhoods, community, we thank you for staying and staying with Fairfield County schools. This is an amazing district. Don't matter what they tell you, we got the smartest kids in the state, maybe in the nation. Incredible things we're doing here. Incredible. And some of them are just catching up. Some that, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to move on, but some that they may go to other districts. And they say, well, I learned that. Well, actually, what we call the associate degree started here 12 years ago in Fairfield County. And everybody now is trying to catch up. When you can come out of high school, before you graduate, you have an associate's degree. Now here, and I get it, some other districts are telling you, we do that now, but we was the first. So I say that, and I do welcome you all. At this time, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
Thank you. At this time, can we get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I
Second.
second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Dr. Harris to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. Thank you. Mr. Davis, do we have any public comment?
Chairman Miller, yes, we do. We have a Mr. Kendrick Anderson. Would you please come up? And his topic is clarification of facility rental.
Doing fine.
How y'all doing? First, I want to thank y'all for the opportunity to be able to speak today. Secondly, I want to express my appreciation to everything you guys are doing for the school district. My name is Kendrick Anderson. I graduated from Fairfield Central in 2009. I played college basketball, and I had the opportunity to go play ball in Israel and also share the gospel. Last year, I started my media company called Unity League Network, where it's a podcast where people come on and they share their testimonies to inspire others. January this year, I partnered with an organization to start an alumni basketball game. I wanted to bring something back to Fairfield County. I reached out to an administrator, and he told me that it was a process, had to fill out an application. I did the application, and I don't want to go too much into details, but it was a lot of back and forth with the application, what should be in there and things like that. So ultimately, the application was denied. And we still end up having an alumni game, but we was accepted by Lexington County schools and also 2 schools in Richland County. We ended up doing it in the school at Richland County. The event was amazing. There's a few people in here that came out. We gave out some Hall of Fame award, Legacy Award, Community Activist Awards. It was amazing. My thing is, you know, I was trying to find out the way to do something for the county. You know, and I played sports, so that's that's one of the things that I do know about. And there's a lot of good things that's going on in Fairfield County, but there's also a lot of negative things. So for me, I want to kind of bridge the gap with the community, with Chester and Great Falls, to try to bring people together, so you know we can have a positive event in the county. I plan on doing things in the future, so I don't want to burn any bridges. But I'm just here today just to speak on, you know, what can we do moving forward, and also what's the right criteria, what's the process for the facility rental. I never really got clarification on it, so I'm just here today to see if we can bridge that gap. I want to do a back to school bash for Fairfield County, but I don't want to have to take it to Lexington County or Richland County. I want it to be right here in our hometown. So that's why I'm here today, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. And we appreciate you. And I think I remember you in 2009. It's a good thing. This is our CEO right here. This is our superintendent. So if anything's that matter, he got an open door policy, okay? So meet with our superintendent, and I guarantee you something will get done, okay? Thank you. Right. Recognition and presentations, our superintendent, Dr. Presley.
Thank you, Chairman Miller. At this time, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Swilly in the Office of Academics for our recognitions and presentations tonight. Dr. Swilly.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Miller, Board of Trustees. We are here tonight for 2 recognitions. We will begin with Dr. Whitfield and Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science. She will have student recognition for region and state awards, as well as those who participated in solo and ensemble this past weekend. Dr. Whitfield.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Chairman, Mr. Miller, and trustees, and my superintendent, Mr. Presley. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to recognize our students for their outstanding work that they have done for Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science. They represented us very well. I am going to start with a student. I'm very proud to recognize Rhett Branham. Rhett is a 3rd grade student, and I'm recognizing him for his outstanding achievement. He entered the Palmetto Pride Governor's Art Contest on litter prevention. He won the 2025-2026 Low Country Regional, and he was also recognized at the South Carolina State House just
All right
last
now.
week.
Come on. Take a picture with him. Come on. Come on over. Clap your hands for it.
I proudly recognize Stella Grace Burrows. Stella is a 4th grade student at Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science. Stella is being recognized for winning the South Carolina Children's Book Challenge sponsored by Fairfield County Co-op. She won the district and the state level for her book, The Day That Power Took a Vacation, which she wrote and illustrated about electrical power. She was also recognized at South Carolina State House for winning the South Carolina Children's Book Challenge. The next student I am proud of and want to recognize is Thomas Summers. Thomas is a 6th grade student at Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science, and I want to recognize him for winning the district and state contest for his Veterans of Foreign Affairs Patriot Pen Writing Essay. Thomas was recognized and celebrated at the VFW Post in Lexington, and he was also later recognized at Myrtle Beach for his writing. The next group of young ones I want to recognize, they were just performed at Dutch Fork High School on Saturday, and I don't know if I was more nervous for them than they were nervous for themselves. But I think it got down to the last duet, and everybody else did a fantastic job, and we were all looking at the faces of the last two that come out to make sure that we went home with a grand slam, and we did. So I'm proud to recognize 13 outstanding students from Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science for representing us with excellence at the solo and ensemble event at Dutch Fork High School on Saturday. Their superior rating of solo and duet performances showcased their musical talent, and their magnet school family is incredibly proud of them. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to call up my solo gentleman. It was only one. He did percussion, and then I'm going to call up the duets together. See, you guys, you don't have to be nervous by standing there by yourself, except for my buddy Willis. The first person I'm going to present to you all is Willis Boyd. Willis did a solo with percussion. He set the bar for all the others because he scored superior, and that's the highest rating that you can get at solo ensemble and ensemble. The next two who were duets, Nyla Chappelle and Jason Ashford. We don't mind doing a boy-girl duo together here. So they performed fantastically on Saturday.
Look at him.
Just like his dad. Turn that way, babe.
It's one of his twins.
The next two who performed as duets, Thomas Summers and Chance Robinson. Our next two are Kingston Copeland and Chance Burns. The next two young people are Jamaria Ashford and Alea Gadsden. Jordan DeWeese, and Cadence Ginyard. And our last two that really brought up the rear of Superior, Adeline Haney and Sandy L. Bayomi.
Motion.
Congratulations again, students of Fairfield Magnet School for Math and Science. Next up, we'll have Mr. Elamine, principal of Fairfield Central High School, and Ms. Shannon Taylor, the Beta Club advisor, to recognize our Beta students from Fairfield Central High School and their performances from state convention.
Good evening. Good evening. So this past February, the Fairfield Central High School chapter of the National Beta Club competed at the South Carolina Beta Club Convention at Myrtle Beach. We competed in 33 different categories. And we placed in 16 of those categories. We have 5 group club level categories that we won, placed in 11 individuals. We have several betas that competed in place in individual and group competitions. So I like to say that we're small but multifaceted and multi-talented little group of kids. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. And of course, because they're betas, they're also active in so many other things. So a few of them are not here because they're also academically and also doing sports. So, but here we go. So our very first one, who's not here, is he's first place 9th grade Julian Barbosa for language arts. First place 11th grade language arts, Adonis Robertson. Second place 11th grade math, Jay-Sean Worthy. He's not here. Third place 9th grade biomedical, Arya Patel. Third place 12th grade Spanish, Marco Robles. Now Marco is taking the Spanish test every year and has placed every year that he has taken it. So we're gonna miss him. Fourth place Division I Spelling Bee, Montarius Hemphill. So those were our individual academic awards. We're gonna now move on to our individual artistic awards. So we have Division I Digital Art, third place, Jabrion Hines. Or as I like to call her, Gabby. It's Gabby. Yeah, that's yours. Division I hand-drawn anime, fourth place, Kylie Curley. Division I painting, first place, Sanjane Kumar. And Division II sculpture, third place, Kamaya Young. She's not here. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our group or our club level competitions where there were multiple kids getting together to create, develop what we are going to do, what they did and represented the club as a whole. So we had three-dimensional division, fourth place. We have three students, Chase Douglas, Jemiah Bryant, and Adrian Consolillo. Adrian's here. That's it. Two-dimensional design, second place, Maya McMillan, but she's playing soccer. We have our fourth place musicology group, Quinala Brown, Deanna McCornell, and Honor Roberts. They're all playing soccer. The other two are playing soccer. Our last two groups are always our biggest two groups. They predominantly a great number of our betas come together to put these productions on. It's our group talent and our show choir. So I'm going to do group talent first and have them all come up. And then I'll do show choir, which is some of the same kids. So they're just not going to leave. They're just going to stay there. And I'll just say their names again and add on to the ones that need to come up as well. Cool? All right. So group talent, we got third place, Quinala Brown, Kingston Belton, Brashonda Prelude, Gianna Pringle, Kanaya Turner, Shantella Johnson, Markayla Alston, that's Gianna Pringle and Shantella Johnson. She said, that's me. Let me see, where was I? Oh no, I got more coming up, hold on. No, that's not all of them, hold on. Let me finish saying all their names. Markayla Austin, Sanjana Kumar, Peyton Swilly, Cecilia Sanders, Jahara Williams, Ariana Bird, Aaliyah Trouble, Jamie Brown, he should be right there, Demaya Banks, Natalia Mickle, Brandon Adams, Kelvana Durham, Lamar Wright, Samara Smith, Elliot Douglas, Braxton Hollingsworth, and Montarius Hempel. No, just stay. Except for Braxton and Jamie. Go back up there. Oh, you want to get your car? Oh, yeah, you're not in show choir. You're right. Right. Sorry, this is show choir. So our first place show choir for state, right? Keep doing it. So I'm going to say their names. Krista Evans, Montarius Hempel, Yusuf Muhammad, London Broom, there she goes. There she is. Derek Cammon, Kanaya Turner, Sanjanet Kumar, Peyton Swilly, Gianna Pringle, Kingston Belton, Rashonda Prelude, Cecilia Sanders, Aaliyah Tribble, and Shantella Johnson. Thank you. My principal would like to say something.
I would just like to thank everyone, our school board, board of trustees, our chairman, Mr. Miller, superintendent, for allowing our students to travel to Myrtle Beach. As you can see, they did an outstanding job, and now the results of their work, they get to travel to Nashville and compete at the national level. So again, thank you for all of the support along the way.
I'm sorry, we left one out.
All right.
It's very important. She's a senior, and she's placed every year as well. It's Quinala, second place for Jewelry Division 2. Okay, good.
You know, I told y'all we got the smartest kids in the state. They can sing too. So talented. So we thank you for bringing your kids to, to our school. And make Fairfield Central, Magnet, all the schools, make them great. And you have made them great. At this time, we want to have our board minutes from our special call board approved for our March 31st, 2026 board meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I make a motion we accept the recommendation to approve the minutes from the March 31st special call board meeting.
I second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. David to accept superintendent recommendation for our March 31st special call board meeting. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. That would be 7-0. Thank you. At this time, we have our superintendent report.
Thank you, Chairman Miller, members of the board, and everyone in the audience and those listening online. My report this evening, my remarks will be brief, but I do want to touch on a few things. And I want to start just by saying April has Been a busy month thus far. We've had our spring break. I charge all the staff and everybody to rest and recharge and get ready to end the school year strong. And over spring break, we've had a prom. Kids were safe. We had some other tragic events that took place over spring break that we rebound from, and we had a lot of community support. But I do want to just touch on the end of the year. We have several events coming up. And please make certain that you're going out and supporting our students and celebrating the success. We just experienced that success and recognizing the students from our magnet school and from the high school. Let's give those students another round of applause, and those parents. And as we move towards the end of the year, all of my seniors out there and senior parents, I'm pretty certain you have a date circled on your calendar, and that would be May the 30th, because we are getting ready for the end of the year event, culminating Griffin Greatness graduation, May 30th. Everyone needs to make certain they have that date on their calendar. And Mr. Miller, I would like to highlight two very special events that I took part of. And when we talk about, how much the great things that we're doing here in Fairfield County Schools, today I took place with the judging of a science fair at Giga Elementary School.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, I had a partner in crime with me while I was judging the science fair, and Dr. Swilly accused me of bullying a young lady. But I'm here to say that young lady placed, and I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to tell you she's going to be a first place science fair winner at the middle school. I'm just going to tell you that. Now, I'm not going to say the young lady's name, because then I'll put her on the spot. But I enjoyed my time at Giga today. The faculty and staff put on an excellent show of just student excellence on display. I want to commend all the students that took part and the parents that helped each and every one of those students prepare those projects for the science fair today. Let's give Giga Elementary School a round of applause. In the second event, I'm going to tell you, if you missed it, please make certain you check social media. On last Friday, we had our very first inaugural Principal for a Day. We had several of our elected officials fill in for our principals throughout the district. At every one of our schools, they were filling as a principal and or a director. So just to tell you about it, I wasn't able to go and see every site because I was the principal for the day at one of the schools. And I was joined again by another partner in crime, our chief of finance, Mr. Kevin Robinson, was also principal for a day. And believe it or not, although we work within the school district, we both learned a lot that day. And Ms. Robinson, I'm gonna have to submit a workman's comp. I think I pulled my shoulder out on the tug of war. But I just want to let everyone know my team won. But Principal for a Day was an outstanding show to let and invite individuals from our community in our schools so they can come see what is going on and take part in the success in all of our schools throughout the school district. Now, I said it was our first inaugural. We will have Principal for a Day. Out of the Office of Academics Planning, Dr. Swilly, you have a charge. You have to do better than what you did this year, because Dr. Swilly was the brains behind it, her and her team. Let's give them a round of applause for having such an outstanding event. We have great things going on in our school district, and I will say we have publicized the greatness, and you'll begin to see it publicized through the superintendent's report as well as our student-led newspaper, as well as our Office of Communications. We will continue to publicize the great things going on within our school district and the great things to come. So, Mr. Miller, that concludes my report, and I'm looking forward to
That
a
was short.
strong end of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, thank you. Mr. Robinson. Finance.
Good evening, Chairman Miller, to
Yes,
the
sir.
school board, and Mr. Presley,
Good evening.
and good evening.
Good evening.
The first item under finance this evening is the finance report for the month of March 2026. That is presented for your information. I can tell you that once again, and I know I say it every month, everything looks good. Our revenues are a little bit better than we anticipated in the budget, and so just in terms of projections, it's still early, but it does look like we will, for the year, have a projection of just breaking even, which is very good, just considering where we thought we would be. But it is presented for your information. If there are any questions, I'm open for questions or comments. Well, fortunately, one of the things that we have in our favor is we do try to budget with some contingencies in mind. And when we have the budget, we're looking at everything district-wide. And so really, we're not looking at one school or department. We're trying to focus on how, as a whole, as a district, we will come out. So even though gas prices are higher, everything right now is more expensive. So it's really impacting every school, every department around the district. Fortunately, because of the way we've been able to budget, because of the way our administrators and the schools and departments have been able to just manage their funds, we're in a good shape in spite of the higher prices. So we're not in a condition in which we've just mismanaged and not taken account for contingencies. And so that's one of the things we have to do every year. Fortunately for us this year, even though prices are higher, we're able to stay within our budgets, and we're looking good as a whole as a district. Sure. Right. There are no other questions, then we'll move on to the second item, which is the first reading of the fiscal year 26-27 budget. And this is an action item. The superintendent is recommending board approval of the first reading of the fiscal year 26-27 budget in the amount of $50,722,940, which includes a millage of 209, which would be no millage increase. So that is presented for your approval, and I'll have a presentation, I guess, after the a motion is made.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion, we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the first reading of the 26-27 budget in the amount of $50,722,940, which includes a millage of 209.
I second.
Okay. And before we go to questions, do we have any questions before we make a motion? Motion made, yes. Okay, this time, motion made by Mrs. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. David to accept the superintendent to approve the first reading of the 26-27 budget of an amount of $50,722,940, which includes millage of 209. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. You want to do it? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson.
No worries.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay. The first slide that we have this evening is the same slide I presented last year, and I'm presenting this because I really want you to see where we've come from and where we're headed. Okay. So this slide is a slide that shows the red line represents our revenues, and we're starting in the year 2013, and the blue line represents our expenditures. And as you can see, starting in 2013 on up to about 2019, which is the middle of the slide, our revenues at those red dots, that red line, was always really significantly higher than our expenditures. So every year we had a surplus, a budget surplus. And that was primarily due to the fact that the property taxes in the district normally were higher than we anticipated, because it's really hard to estimate from year to year where the values are going to be, especially considering that our largest taxpayer is a huge corporation, and we really have no way of determining how widely their value will fluctuate. So in those years, fortunately for us, the revenue due to their valuation wound up being higher than we anticipated, which means we had this surplus, and we used the surplus in those years to help build our fund balance for a rainy day. And we also used the surplus to transfer money to our capital projects so we could do some additional capital expenditures throughout the district. In 2020, which happened to coincide with COVID, that's the year in which the values went down. Now, I'm not saying that's a result of COVID, but we had those two major things that happened. So in 2020, that's where those two lines start to intersect. Fortunately for us, even though the revenues were lower than they had been, and our expenditures, of course, keep going higher because salaries and benefits are always going to be higher, we had something to fall back on. And fortunately for us and a lot of other districts, that was ESSER money. So for about 4 years, we had ESSER funding. That meant that we were able to take a lot of our salaries, bonuses, other routine expenditures, and pay for those things out of federal funds, which meant it lowered our general fund expenditures. So that kind of helped us bridge a gap all the way up until about 2024. Then in 2025, that's when, at the tail end of the graph, you see the blue line starts to go higher than the red line, and that was our projection. So last year, during last year's budget, we projected that we would have a shortfall, and that we would make up for that shortfall by pulling money out of the fund balance. And so as I just told you, I'm projecting we will end up breaking even, which means we've done a lot better than we anticipated. But I just want to show this to you so we can be aware that that trend is still basically in effect. Depending on our revenues, our tax revenues from year to year, we could have a situation in which we'll have to take money out of fund balance sometimes at the end of the year. That may be what happens. But that's one of the reasons we have a healthy fund balance, to help us have the ability to balance our budget in times such as these. So I wanted you to be aware of that. The second slide is just a slide for that same time period that shows our revenues, and there are 4 categories there that are represented. But by far the most important one is the top line. That graph, that line, really is only our local property tax revenues. And as you can see at the beginning, it starts to go higher, it flattens out a little bit, and then we reach a high point. That high point was in 2019. Again, remember I mentioned in 2020, that's when revenues started to flatten out a little bit. Our expenditures, of course, kept going higher, and that's where the 2 lines intersected. So again, our property tax revenues still have not reached that high point where we were in 2019. But fortunately, again, we've been able to kind of manage from year to year, make smart decisions, and fortunately we have a fund balance to fall back on. But as we go out year to year, unless those revenues increase dramatically, we're always going to be in that challenging position. So I just wanted you to see kind of where we are, big picture-wise, throughout the years. We'll go to the next slide, please. So now I'll talk about just an overview of our budget for next year. We're proposing a budget of $50.7 million, which is $1.5 million higher than last year's budget of $49.2 million. We're proposing, once again, to use $1.7 million from the fund balance to balance the budget. There is no proposed millage increase, and we're not requesting an increase in the number of staffing positions, so the same number of FTEs that we had last year. In terms of salaries, the teachers will receive salary increases in accordance with the mandated increases by the state, which means $2,000 plus a step for those teachers. And classified and administrative employees will receive the step increase plus a 2% increase. And the retention bonuses are included in this budget as well. So those really are the highlights of our budget for next fiscal year. You can go to the next slide, please. I'll just briefly talk about some of the revenue categories that we have. We have our local revenues, and as I mentioned, that really is the lion's share of our revenues in our general fund. The property tax revenues from non-residential second homes and businesses really comprise the bulk of those property tax revenues. And our funding depends really on those values, and about 60% of our total revenues comes from our local property tax revenues. We also have funding from the state, and funding from the state is really, it's changing. The formula changes a little bit from year to year, and while we get more money, we're not really getting, relatively speaking, as much as we were. So that, again, puts pressure on the district in terms of funding, and that's one of the reasons why it's, again, so important to have a fund balance, and important for us to just be mindful of what we're spending and try to be smart about how we're spending money. And I'll move on to, you go to the next slide, please. So I just want to talk briefly about the increases to our revenues. The first category, the local revenues, increased about almost $1.2 million over last year's budget. That is primarily due to an estimated increase in the assessed property values. And of course, our largest taxpayer accounts for about 60% of our property tax value. So that one taxpayer is very important. And as I mentioned, as their value fluctuates, that impacts our revenues. Fortunately, last year, we had quite a few categories in terms of property tax values that increased. So that really helped us to have an increase in revenue that we're projecting for next year. which goes a long way towards funding our budget. Our second biggest category would be our state tax reimbursements. Even though they've kind of changed the formula, we'll end up getting about $300,000 more in our state tax reimbursements. And the state tax reimbursements, I'm sorry, I said they changed the formula. I'm thinking about the state education funding. The state tax reimbursements are reimbursements we get from the state for property tax, what used to be property tax revenue. So in other words, at one point in time, we used to receive property tax revenues from residential properties. So if I lived in a house, we used to pay property taxes for the operations of the school district. And with Act 388, I think that was 2007, 2008, they ended that and they decided, okay, if you live in the home, you'll no longer pay property taxes for operations. Instead, we'll fund that money from the state's general fund. So there's an increase in that amount of revenue that we're receiving from the state for next year. And if you can go to the, next slide, it's the one after that. So here's just a summary of our expenditures in the different categories we have and how much they're increasing for next year. As I state every year, the largest expenditure category that we have is for our salaries and benefits. And that's roughly 85% of our budget. And we're projecting that will increase by $1,155,000. Again, that's primarily due to the fact that we have increases for our teachers as well as our staff. There are no projected increases in health insurance benefits because the district does pay a portion of health insurance. There's no projected increase for retirement because the district also pays a portion of retirement in addition to the staff paying retirement. But with every additional dollar in salary, that means we will pay a little bit more retirement and also more Social Security. So we have a $1 increase to someone's salary, we pay roughly 34 cents in retirement funds and Social Security on top of that dollar. So that's why we have the increase of $1.2 million because of our salary increases and also the retirement and Social Security that the district has to pay that goes along with that. The other categories we have really don't have any major increases. We talked about an increase in terms of the cost. So with our purchase services, there were some things that we found were increasing. We also had some requests for some additional software. And so that's why that's going up. But really, only $174,000 is not significant in regards to our total budget. And the only other significant category where we had an increase is in our transfers. That, as I stated before, is related to the amount of money that we have to pay for the children in Midford that attend the Chester County Schools. So that amount is out of our control, but that has been going up pretty significantly every year. Fortunately, again, we're able to handle that now, but that is one of the reasons we have an increase in our budget as well.
So, Mr. Robbins, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Right there. So you were saying that our salaries and our benefits and what have you, it's about 80 to 85% of our budget.
Yes, sir.
A lot of folks don't know that. They have no idea that most of it is in salary and benefits, and that only leaves about 15%. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but from 85 to 100, that's 15%, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and so you were talking about the Midford area. So have they increased children, students, to get more, or what's going on with that?
So the amount we pay is really based on two things: the number of students, and also it's based on Chester's local revenue per student. So in other words, there's a calculation. Every year, the processors, they send me their calculation, and their calculations based on their audit report, so I can recalculate the entire thing based on their audited financial statements. And at the end of that calculation, based on their total local tax revenues and based on the total number of students, we have a number called the local revenue per student. That local revenue per student is multiplied by the number of children in Midford. And we also, every year we look at the list, and we have someone in the district who reviews the list to make sure that those children really are in the Midford area. So we get the list, we get the addresses where they live, and we're able to verify, yes, these children live in that area. And once we verify all of that, then we give them the okay and say we're okay with it, and then we make the payment. But one of the reasons it's going up, when we started this, we have fewer kids than we had when we started making these payments. But because their local revenues are going up, that means the revenue per student is going up. And that's the thing that's increasing the total cost. So the students are going down, but it's being outpaced by the local revenue per student. So we end up paying a little bit more every year.
So it's based on that. It's not based on hours.
No, it's not.
I was just wondering how could they do that? And when they're leaving, you know, they live in Fairfield County, but it's based on projection in Chester. I guess that's the law, but I'm just asking you that's the way it was, I guess, the judge or whoever did it that way.
Yes, sir. I think through all of the litigation, and as you remember, this went to the state Supreme Court, that was decided that was the way that it had to be calculated. So that's what we're living with right now.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. You go to that last slide. Thank you. So just to summarize, again, our budget is $50,722,940. We've balanced that budget by proposing to use $1,726,000 from the fund balance. And there's no request for an increase in millage. And so the district is requesting that first reading approval for fiscal year 26-27's budget of $50,722,940 with no millage increase.
Anybody have any more questions? Mr. Robinson? You did a thorough job, I thought, letting us know what's going on, and we really appreciate it. Motion was made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. Davis, to accept the superintendent, put my glasses back on, recommendation to approve the first reading of the 26-27 budget in the amount of $50,722,940, which includes millage of $209. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. This is the first reading. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. All right. At this time, curriculum and instruction. You back again?
I'm back again. Good evening, Chairman Miller, Board of Trustees. We're in and out tonight. So we have two overnight trips, one for Fairfield Middle School and then one for FC Diamond Elite Dance Team attached. So Fairfield Middle School will be traveling to Nationals for Beta Club. And then Fairfield Diamond Elite will have their travels for their end of the year trip as attached. So the superintendent recommends board approve overnight out-of-state field trip request for Fairfield Middle School first.
Can we get a motion, please?
Chairman Miller,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation to approve overnight out-of-state trip request for Fairfield Middle School and the Fairfield Diamond Elite Dance Team.
Just one.
Oh, just doing one. I'd like to make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the overnight out-of-state field trip request for Fairfield Middle School.
That's second.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Ms. Green, to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the overnight field trip request for the Fairfield Middle School. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. All right, and we have another motion.
Yes. The superintendent recommends the board approve overnight out-of-state field trip request for FC Diamond Elite Dance Team.
Can we get a motion?
Chairman Miller, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the overnight out-of-state field trip for the FC Diamond Elite Dance Team.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Pastor Jack, to accept superintendent recommendation for the overnight field trip for the FC Diamond Elite Dance Team. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Got one question for you. Dr. Swilly, are the young men mentoring, are they planning on going anywhere? I hadn't seen them.
Yes, they actually were approved a couple meetings ago, but they leave Thursday, I think, of this
Okay,
week. Right.
okay,
Yep.
okay. I
They
just
leave
wanted to
Thursday.
make sure.
Yep. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Operations and Student Services, Dr. Campbell.
Good evening, Chair Miller,
Yes, ma'am.
board members, Mr. Presley. The first item under Operations and Student Services is second and final read of two policies. As a reminder, last month, we presented these two policies. There was no feedback, no question or correction from any of our community members or staff members. So those two policies are policy GBGD, Workman's Compensation, which was issued at 197, and policy GCMD, Instructional Staff Extra Duty, issued 297. So there are two separate motions for the second and final read of each of these policies.
Very good. Can we get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the second and final reading, revision, and adoption of policy GBGD, workers' compensation, issue 197.
A second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mr. David, to accept the superintendent recommendation for the board to approve the second and final reading revision of adoption of policy GBGD, workers' compensation, issued in January of 1997. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand.
Okay,
Motion two, yes, ma'am.
there's a second motion.
Can we get a motion?
Mr.
Motion two.
Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the second and final reading, revision, and adoption of policy GCMD, instructional staff extra duty, issue 297.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Ms. Green, to accept the superintendent recommendation for the second and final reading and revision of the adoption of policy GCMD, instructional staff extra duty, issued in February of 1997. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand.
Thank you. Secondly, tonight, we have a facility usage request, and this has been requested by District 6 Masonic Lodge for their annual meeting, and they are requesting that the board waive the $250 building usage fee so they can hold their annual meeting on August the 29th at the high school auditorium and the cafeteria.
And this is the Masonic.
Yes, sir. District 6 Masonic Lodge.
Can we get a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion we accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the waiver of fees of $250 for the District 6 Masonic Lodge to have their annual meeting on August 29, 2026 at Fairfield Central High School auditorium and cafeteria.
second.
Motion made by Ms. Harrison Williams. Who will second that? Mr. Davis. Second by Mr. Davis to accept the superintendent recommendation to approve the waiver of fees of $250 for the District 6 Masonic Lodge to have their annual meeting on August the 29th, 2026 at the Fairfield High School Auditorium and Cafeteria. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. All right.
And lastly tonight, we have for your information, so the public is aware, our schools, we have to make our school buildings accessible to our local election authority if they need to use those buildings for an election. And so what we have is a request from the election board to use the building, but because by law, we have to allow them to use the building, it doesn't require a vote, but to make the board and the public aware of them using it and why they use it. So Giger Elementary School is scheduled to be used for the June primary, the June 23rd runoff election if it's needed, and for the November 3rd general election. And since I'm here, to remind our parents and our employees how important it is to vote in every election. Sometimes we wait until it's the big presidential election, but every election is important. And also to encourage our students that if you turn 18 before any of these dates, please go get registered to vote because you're voting for yourself and everybody else. So just by way of information for the board, our school will be used for those 3 elections.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Human Resource Administration. Mrs. Robinson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Under HR this evening, we have the following items for your approval. Item 1, certified resignation terminations. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the certified resignation terminations listed in Exhibit 1, effective at the conclusion of the 2025-26 academic year.
Can we get a motion, please?
Chairman Miller,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation that the board approves the certified resignation termination listed in Exhibit 1, effective at the conclusion of 2025-26 academic year.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Pastor Jackson.
Yes.
Yes. To accept the superintendent recommendation, the board approve the certified resignation termination listed in Exhibit 1, effective at the conclusion of the 25-26 academic school year. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand.
Next, we have item 2, certified recommendations. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the professional certified educators presented in Exhibits 2A, 2B, and 2C for the 2026-27 academic year.
All right.
Chairman,
Can we get a motion?
Chairman Miller, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the professional certified educators presented in Exhibit 2A, 2B, and 2C for the 2026-27 academic year.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Pastor Jackson. Accept the superintendent recommendation. The board approve professional certified educators presented in Exhibit 2A, Exhibit 2B, and Exhibit 2C for the 26-27 academic school year. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. All right.
Lastly, item 3, classified recommendations. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the classified staff listed in Exhibit 3 for the 2026-27 academic year.
Can we get a motion?
Chairman Miller, I'd like
Yes.
to make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve the classified staff listed in Exhibit 3 for the 2026-27 academic year.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Davis, second by Mrs. Green to accept the superintendent recommendation. The board approve the classified staff listed in Exhibit 3 for the 2027 academic school year. All in favor show by the raising of the right hand. All right. Thank you. This is our board chair report.
And I'm gonna have Dr. Swilly come because that was something that there was some discussion about. Dr. Swilly, can you address that?
Yes, so there was some question about that because Easter is earlier next year, so it's in March. Because we have intercession, none of our neighboring districts have intercession that they're off in February. The discussion became about if we did it right in March, before or after, then they would have no more breaks until we out. So that will be end of the break. So the vote, when we put it out there and talk with principals, teacher forum, different stakeholders, when we put it out for the survey, those were one of the areas that we highlighted, so they would see that it wasn't until April that they would understand why the break didn't happen right either before or after, because we were just out in February. Now, we did add the Monday after Easter Sunday will be our student holiday, and it'll be a parent-teacher conference. So they will have the Monday to kind of recuperate, rejuvenate from the activities that happened that next day. But it was a majority vote to approve that we would have our break in April, so that we wouldn't go from February, then have it in March, and now you have nothing until we're out for summer. So that was the vote.
Well, I know you probably don't know the number that voted, but I'm pretty sure once a lot of people realize that did not vote, yeah, we're gonna get some.
Definitely take a look at it. All right. Thank you, Dr. Swilly. Thank you. At this time, we're going to have our board chair. You want to expound on that, Doc? Go ahead.
I do. Chairman Miller, before you have your report, I would ask that all of the board members come down front and center to take a picture holding a sign. And this is to celebrate our seniors. And this is a sign that the School Board Association sent. And this is the annual graduation blitz. Mr. Copeland, if you could step forward to get a picture of these fine ladies and gentlemen holding up this sign to support our seniors as we prepare for graduation. And what's that date? May the 30th. And as they move to the front, this is, everyone will post this lawn sign outside of the district office. And there are additional ways that we can recognize our graduates. We will be posting this congratulatory sign. We'll also share some encouraging words and quotes on social media, along with the photo that was just taken of our school board. And we just want to make certain that we give our school board a hand for their support and hard work for our district. Let's give our school board a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Oops. Yeah, absolutely. Again, we support public schools. You know,
Yes, we do.
I even got come a little badge there, right here. We support public schools. Now, I'm gonna say this: some people can turn students away.
That's right.
Public education, we can't. Don't matter where they come from. You know, we're gonna educate them wherever they at. You know, we don't have a sign out there in front that say if your child may have might be a child that may be challenged, we can't. No. We're gonna educate the children. Don't matter what and where they come from.
That's right.
They can be blue.
That's right.
We're going to educate them. That's what we do in Fairfield County in public school. And so sometimes folks don't understand. We're not playing by the same we're not on the same ball field. You know, it's not apples to apples. Sometimes we say, why are they doing that? They can do that. 'Cause they can manipulate. But in public schools, we got to follow a criteria. And so just know that and keep telling the truth, you know, about our public schools. We got some great schools here in Fairfield County. Put them up against anybody, you know. And you hear, you know, sometimes we may have a little rumble. You go other places, you'll hear something. They got it going on, you know. Kids, you know. That's one reason I moved back. I stayed in Richland County for a little while, but I got tired of ducking. I'm telling you, shooting up in the neighborhood. I want to come somewhere rural area, you know. I'm not saying that we're any, you know. Yeah, we better, you know. Take a fog not to praise his own. We are better, okay? Yeah, I'll say that, and I'm not apologetic about it, okay? On Saturday. That's right. Oh my goodness. That's right. On Saturday, the 25th of April, 2026, there are going to be a parade. Now, Dr. Simpson, I've never seen you out there in Blair, but I'm looking forward to see you out there in Blair. Dr. Green, I never see you. Did I get that right? That's pretty blue. That's Butler. That's Butler. I'm sorry. I apologize. We still never see you. In that pretty blue. I want you to come. Just having a little fun now, y'all. But we, in Blair Day, it's no charge. Mr. Robinson, I'm looking for you. It's no charge. We just gonna eat, fellowship, have a parade, just have a great time. You know, if you see anybody out there inside that fence trying to charge it, you let me know, okay? We gonna talk about it. They're gonna get kicked out, Dr. Campbell. We gonna kick them outside the fence. No charge. Anything you want to eat, ribs, fish, hot dog. My specialty is Italian ices, okay? And we're gonna have some ices for you and the children, and some good old hot dogs. Got to specialize. Some good old hamburgers and all that stuff like that. You know, I might have to pull 2 minutes in the grill out of it. We're gonna see, but we're gonna work on it. All right. But anyway, I just wanted to have some fun with that, and y'all, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Everybody's invited. You hear me out there, the one that's, you know, telecast, that come on by Blair. We're going to start the parade at 11 o'clock, so you need to get there by 10, and we'll probably be finishing up about 3. We're not going to be out there all day, you know, so, but we're coming to have a good time. You got something? Anybody got something?
Yeah, Chair Miller, I know before we have our next event, we won't be there Met, but May 15th for National Senior Citizen Month, we'll be also cooking again. The kids will be coming up performing, so I'm encouraging all you that are able to make it on that Friday to please come out and support our students and our senior citizens of the county. Speaking of graduation, May 30th, we also be cooking for the seniors that we do every year. And this year we are doing it for the middle school, which my daughter will be graduating. And I got to see how my wife gonna take it, because she cried at the 6th grade graduation. So, Mr. Preston, please have EMS on standby, because I think this is gonna be a big one. But you know,
All right, Mr. Davis, you better watch out.
You got to go home, boy.
Yeah, it's 155 students supposed to be graduating from the middle school. So if anybody can come out and help, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Green, you look pretty with your purple earrings on.
Oh, look,
You look
but
like
thank
you
you.
wanna
Nope,
say something.
I don't have anything to say today. Thank you very much, though.
Can we get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Made by Ms. Harrison Williams, second by Mrs. Davis to adjourn. All in favor, show by the raising of the right hand. Meeting adjourned.